Yeah. Okay. Spotlight. Okay, that's cute. Okay. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Right. Okay, just loosening up. Wait a little bit. Okay. Okay, move from the back. Yes. Good, side to side. To rotation. Great. Inside outside. Right, take it the stretch up to the top. And then come all the way down. Okay, great. Rolling up the shoulders. Forwards. Alternating. Changing forwards. to the sides. Right, along the hips. Direction. And demonstrate with the legs. Down. Circle in the mat. Direction. Okay. Stepping out and then into the center. Loosen up the hips. Okay, bring the hand onto the knees, looking over to the back. You're going to take the side. Hold it on side. Okay, change inside. Bit deeper. Changing over. Good. Okay, bring the legs back. Hands onto the same line. Swinging, reaching the feet. Both hands. Pull the hands forward, stretch into the shoulders. Bring the hands up, spotting the shoulders. Bringing the arms up to the ceiling. Changing the arm.
walking the feet together. Body forwards, pressing the palms down. Nice and slowly coming back to the top. Just loosen out the arms a little bit, actually rolling them out. The sides. Let's work it to the front. Great, bring the wrists together. Pressing the palms together, nice and strong, sealing into the palm. Okay, stretch into the wrist. Sides. Take him to a 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂 Changing the hand. Something over the top, looking for a 𝒉𝒂𝒕. Changing it over. 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂. Change it. Good, taking the fingers, reaching out. Shaking it up. Down. Into the slides. Rolling out the arms. Yeah, the legs. Shaking the whole body. Okay, good. Okay, we'll do some Jo, nice and quick, and then we'll go on again. We'll continue with the 𝒊𝒔𝒏𝒕 techniques, but we'll just start with the Jo. Great. So the main thing we'll focus on is the handwork. So this idea of transitioning the hands. So we'll just start with a zengoski. Just take it nice and smoothly. Just really focusing on that connection, feet to hand, really sliding down the way. Nice and easy. Okay, take it into a little bit of a 𝒌𝒂𝒂𝒃 as well. So with the ski, the 𝒌𝒂𝒂𝒃, change. Front, back, change. Good, takes a little bit of 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒃. So it's working both sides, find the ski, back, strike, and then rolling back into 𝒂𝒏. Changing the side. Great, just think a little bit off with the Jodan strike. So coming up to the top, changing, and then into the strike. So just pivot in two directions. Yeah, and then just switch it. Stay on the left and the right. Just changing the body. 1, 2, 3, change. Okay, great. So we'll just do like an overview of the ikkyo with it. So just using the jo with it, you're gonna have the jo in the back hand, around about the center of the jo, and you want the whole body's kind of advance. You use the jo as a kind of guide for the hand. You just work straight into the ikkyo. So you're gonna come in, bring this in, open this finger grip, drop the hip in, and then you're stepping in, come into this position, dropping the weight down. Just play with nice basic. 𝒊𝒔𝒏𝒕. Coordinate the hands with the feet. Everybody advances in. Grip. Okay. Basic 𝒊𝒔𝒏𝒕. Great. And the same thing, just working with the urawaza. So yeah, in this case, the back leg's coming straight in, opening out. Find that position, this hand open out, and then that same thing, find that extension. Yeah, and continue it. The rotation again, pressure down. You come in, bring that back leg in. This rotation, and then just let the hips take the arms to the back. Just trying to rotate the whole body from the hips, whilst keeping the extension nice and strong. Yeah. Find the wrist, drop into the hips. Okay, we'll take it to the Nikyo. So just starting with the Amote. So the main difference now, you start that same motion, but this time keep the hand open. So as you go into this motion, this hand's open, and then what you do, got a similar cut down, but you're focusing on this connection and dropping in the hip this way. So this hand stays open. Just imagine in this case, you're dropping onto the arm. You want to keep this contact in the heel of the hand, and think that from this position you can control the elbow and strike into the head this way. So your aim in this case is to really drop the person down into this position this way, which frees you to be able to get the wrist and find the Nikyo. So just work with this, similar to the Ikkyo, but you've not got the grip and then dropping it in. You've got this Tegatana contact. Yeah, and then you want the body weight to drop in behind it. And keeping that pressure on the elbow here. So you keep the front connect, cut it down to that position. Just play with that both sides. So reaching in here, and then that becomes this. This way. That's right. The main thing here is use that same kind of organization like with the weapon. So this sense of the center dropping in, that same sense here as you come in, think that the center drags the hands down. So rather than it being a movement there, where the hands kind of cut over and the chest comes over the top, think of this kind of coming down to that position. So the arms are still free. I need the arms to be free in this position, because if they're locked up here, then this next movement becomes really kind of tight. So I'm looking for the back to be still free and the shoulders to be relaxed. But I need the hips to kind of drop into that movement, because I want to really affect the person down. So you've got this, and then the center drags the arms down. Just get this feeling that you're dropping in the hips, dropping the center. Good. Good. Okay, so we'll take it to the kind of tricky part, which is the handwork here. So you get to this position, you drop this in. Now from here, lead this movement with the thumb. So the key with this, the first you do this really slow, keep this pressure here on the jaw, so this arm stays extended. Now you lead this with the thumb, that way opens out, and it's as if you're going beyond the fingers. So in this case, the fingers will be kind of here. You're going beyond it, and then you wrap this up. So you're using that kind of L of the hand, the web of the hand. Drop into that position, and then you'll again keep that pressure as you do this. You're rolling this over and then collect it, and then this kind of tightens on this way, and then that same as the Ikkyo, you come in through it this way. So you're keeping this pressure. The idea later with this pin is you've got the arm totally locked up. Again, you're going to kind of set into the shoulder this way, through the head this way. So just nice as though you've got that. Drop the center in, and then lead it with the thumb. Collect with the web of the hand, that, and then tighten it on. Right. Set it this way. Really take time with it. The main thing is keeping this kind of extension through the hands as you mobilize the outside hand. And once you've got the feel for it, keep it slow. But the main problem with this is I tend to start to look at the hand as I do it. And what tends to happen, the body starts to collapse in, and this takes all the movement, or takes all the concentration, and everything kind of collapses here. So once you've got the idea of it, do it with the kind of touch with the body. So I'm not particularly focused. I'm not focused on the hand at all, really. So my focus is basically here, where the partner will be, and then allow that hand to just find it. So you can also try it with your eyes closed as well. But the key thing is try and do it through touch of the body. So there, like that. I'm not specifically looking at. I'm going to start to draw everything down towards it. And in. Insert this way. Focus kind of open. Yeah. Nice. Good. Yeah, the other thing with this is you can't really do this with Geo. You can do the same thing, but you don't get quite the same effect. But you got something kind of flexible like this. This is useful to do. So if you look at that part of it, if you go to the Ikkyo, there's nothing really happens with in that case. I just kind of stretch the tissues out, so there's a little bit of an extension that way out, and I'm just basically dropping into it and controlling the arm. When you come to the Nikkyos and the Sankyos, you're looking more to kind of go into twists and rotations. So what you're looking for here is this. Once you've got that pattern, that way, you've got this motion happening. So you've got the wrist basically twisting from the end of it. So as you do this, just think like this. You come into it, you've got that position. This you collect, and then this is winding this way. So this hand's doing this rotation, and this hand is coiling in this way. As it's pressing down, it's doing that. So what you create is a torsion through the arm this way, and this is kind of it's stretching it in the same way that with the Ikkyo, but at the same time you're stretching, you're spiraling it as well. So you're just sending a little bit of a twist into it. So you can do this with the Jo, but it's a little bit tricky because it's not so flexible. But just get the feeling that you've got this. So what you're doing with the hand is this hand's doing this way, not like that, but just settling into it. And this hand's doing this motion at the same time. So you're kind of wringing the joint out. So you're trying to basically take the slack out of the joint as you do the technique. Do it with that kind of motion, the body. That's yeah, and then again, it's a kind of extension from this feeling of the Ikkyo. So once you've got that feeling with the Ikkyo, this extension out, and then the trick is that keeping the weight in. you got to load into that back leg, and then as you go in, that kind of step in. So at the same time, you're continuing that spreading this way as you step through the person. The same thing here with this one. You've got this kind of spiral through it, and as you do it again, transferring the weight. Now, as you go in with the Nikya, you've got more of a feeling of doing. It's not quite this, but this motion. So the Jo's in this case, like I'm kind of sticking the Jo into the ground. So you've got this position, this, and do this lightly, but feel it as you go in. This direction comes on. So I'm doing that same this motion, and it's coming on through that step. This, as I'm coming into it. This is tricky to do, especially with an uke, because you start to kind of lock the joint up, and it's really easy to damage the shoulder if the person kind of freezes in it. If you've got someone that's flexible, you can do it, but look for that position, and then as you bring the hips in, that kind of feeling. It's a kind of extension from the ego, kind of spreading the arms out and stepping in. In this case, you've got this movement there. So it goes a little bit more into the person. Yeah, that's it. Okay, good. Nice. Okay, great. We'll take it to the urawaza. So again, there's a couple of changes with this one. Works the same idea as the ikkyo, but the main difference is this. So with the ikkyo, you've got that position, and I'm taking the elbow this side, and I'm taking here, closing onto the wrist. Do the same thing. So use this tegatana, but in this case, if I do the tegatana with only the elbow control, as I go through, I basically lose the wrist. So because I don't control the arm in that position, if I just cut down with it, I basically just drop the wrist and I lose that contact. So what you do in the shomichi, in the urawaza, this time you're going to take the wrist this way. So as you come in, you're taking the wrist here. So the hands are kind of coming together. And your aim is, as you get that shomichi, is to close onto the wrist this way. And then as you draw this around, you're basically controlling the arm this way as you take it through. So with the Jo, just take the grip a little bit further up, so you've got about a hand's width between the end of the Jo. It's a little bit tricky, you've got a little bit more weight in it. But as you come in now, think about this coming together. Again, I get the tegatana here. And the key thing, the first thing we'll do with this is just think about that same sense of dropping down, but now you do it, rotating down. Okay, so that same drop, you've got the control in the wrist, you've got the tegatana contact, and then drop out the back. And you're looking for the hips to just drop into the ground. Just play this both sides again, so you've got the deeper contact. Again, that foot comes in, take the wrist straight away, and then this cuts it down. You've got that connection in with the hips now. Just looking at the beginning of the urawaza. Okay. Good. Nice. Yeah, okay. So the main thing again is that drop of the weight and using the legs now. So as you do this, it's the transference of the weight across as you go in. This leg, this leg's really strong, and then you want to compress down here at the same time spiraling the body out. Just watch in this case that you don't do something like that, where spin out of it and then try and find it here. So just look for the weight in this room as you come in. I get underneath the joint, and then from here sink the weight down and then drop into it this way. So just you can slightly exaggerate this way and really get the sense that you're cutting in here to the ground here. So you want to really drop the person into the ground, but it's just a matter of keeping the weight through the rotation. Especially that front leg. Yeah. That's, yeah, nice. Nice. Okay, so this is where we get a little bit stuck with the jump because it's not quite flexible enough to do it, but I'll show you with this and then I'll show you with the jump. You can just about do it, but the key thing here, again, you've got the wrist control here, you're cutting it down, and then here you've got a similar idea, you're going to roll, collect it, but at the same time now what I want to do is track back onto the center line of the person. So you've got this position, this now bends into the body this way, so I get this position. This, and again, I got that motion before from the motor this way, but it's closer now, that position. This comes onto the body, and then you track into the center and drop the weight into it. Drop into it this way. And then from here, you're kind of opening it out to this way. So, how you do that with the judge? Got this really take time, like again, you've got that connection here, this, and then think that you're, again, that motion. Here, readjust it, and then the key thing here is once you've got that torsion, just drop the hips into it. You can open it out, you can find the ground with it. Give it a try. It's not especially easy with the jump. Yeah, if you've got a shorter stick, it's probably better actually. Yeah.
Could we have a look at the footwork just after at the end, the hand change?
So, from a few angles. So you've got this, and then from here you've got this position. I got my partner's here. So what I'm going to do is I come out, I just adjust that foot back, and then track back onto the body this way, and then from here press it in. And then from here, you've got two options. You can cut down into the body, But the main thing you're doing here is reopening that spiral out to the back and cutting them down this way. So later you can basically cut this really short where I do this facing front, that way, cut that way. But just to start with this, to make it a little bit bigger, you've got that position. Cut it out. And then from here, once you retrack it, find the person, connect in, and then open this back out that way. One, open, collect, yeah, track back onto them, drop in, and line to the back this way.
Okay.
Good, good, good. Great. Okay, good. So the key hand with this in terms of the technique functioning is the outside hand. So what tends to happen with this technique is this arm starts to take the kind of focus and I start to do something like that and I lose this hand. But if you look at all the variations for Nikyo, they all rely on basically having this control in the wrist. So your key control for a Nikyo is basically this control of the joint here. If I've got that control in the wrist, if I've got the hand on the wrist and I've got that, I've got a Nikyo basically. Whatever happens, if I can seal that grip onto the person, whatever they do in terms of they're going to try and escape it or pull away from it, if I can keep that contact, I can get a Nikyo because I'm basically looking for that shape through the body. But if I've got that control on the wrist, I've not got a Nikyo, especially because they can basically drop and escape through it. So just play with this as you do it. It's a little bit tricky with the Joe, but basically I'm looking for that contact, and once I've got that contact, this contact really stays on. So this comes to the body in terms of the basic, and this hand's just coming over this way, and it's connecting in, and it's kind of contributing to this. But the main movement of this is that movement in, and then that, and then this, and I really keep this grip on all the way through this way. So the key grip is that outside one, and if you see these variations where the elbow comes up and you change, or you strike, you do all these things. They rely on that ability to get that grip and keep it. So as you do it, just think about all this work with the shonichi is about how to get to this position with the grip. So that position, that's the kind of key position. Same with the other leg. Come in, that, and that. Once I've got that grip, I've got the Nikyo on. And it's doing that same thing from the Ikkyo, that sense of drawing the joint out, but you've just added that twist into it. So a little bit kind of kink the wrist into it. And that's the kind of key to the Nikyo kind of functioning with this one. So that's the key method of control in this case. So, Okay, last couple of minutes, just run through them as a set. So you've got the Shomuchi Ikkyo Mote Ura and Nikkyo Mote Ura. The main thing with this, especially for the Shodan exam, is really take your time with it. So it's really a Kihon exam, the Shodan. So really take your time in each position. But the problem most people have is, especially with these Nikkyo movements, they start to try and rush them and try and find it this way. But really take your time with these. So you go step through step with it. So really control it. Take your time with it. Well, if I've got that elbow control, this is fine. I can take my time here, find the wrist, that, and then stepping through it this way. So really take your time as you do this, and especially in those hand transitions that you get in the Nikkyo. Really take your time. There's no rush to it because it's really a key on practice. But just work through them. Ikkyo. Same thing. Find the elbow, find the connection, drop the head in. With the Bukiwaza. Okay, great. We will try and look at the Sankhya tomorrow. But really, really tricky with the joke, especially with the walking. But we'll give it a go. We'll see if we can do it. So, hey, domo arigato gozaimasu.
Domo arigato gozaimasu.
Great.